What's your name?
Paddy Pimblett.
Okay, do you have a fight nickname?
My coach calls me Paddy the Baddy Pimblett.
Paddy the Baddy.
The mushrooms and the helmets that he called out Dustin, he called out Justin, he called out Armin, and he called out Charles.
Obviously, you train to fight the best, so I'm training at the minute to fight Islam Makhachev, but he mightn't even be the champion by the time I get there, so we're just going to have to see what happens. You've got to let it all play out, haven't you? And whoever's in front of me, that's who I fight. Whoever the UFC send me a contract with their name on, that's who I fight, and that'll be whoever I fight next. Whoever the UFC send me a contract with their name on, I'll never turn a fight down.
If they put him against Paddy, I think Paddy beats him easy now.
Paddy the Baddy Pimblett, a true phenomenon in the world of mixed martial arts. Not long ago, no one took him seriously, but now the future looks absolutely electric for this guy.
One more win, and Paddy fights for the belt. That is a unanimous conversation.
He still come out and tried to finish me, but he couldn't, know what I mean? Just like nobody in this lightweight division can, none of yous. I'm gonna kill every one of yous.
Yeah, that's a real champion's mindset. Some guys, they just want to do anything to win.
This fighter has turned down UFC contracts twice, fought in 3 different weight classes, and captured the hearts of fans with his charisma, insane performances, and all-around spectacle. Like a morning star, he shot up on the MMA horizon, and his blaze lit up the entire scene. He hasn't lost in 7 years, and this Scouser's future is nothing short of legendary. Right now, we're diving into the savage rise of Paddy Pimblett.
So you got a message for your fans, your family, or for your opponent? Paddy, thanks for your time.
England, 1995. In rainy Liverpool, born to a businessman and a housewife, came the future star, whose name would echo through stadiums. Paddy Pimblett's childhood and adolescence played out like the life of any typical English teenager of the time. Passionate football, fandom, video games, and school. His father saved up, planning to send his son to deep-sea welding courses, while his mother saw a politician in her child. From an early age, Pimblett's charisma and charm were evident, leading many to predict a bright future in politics or business. But the plans of his parents were destined to be broken. At the age of 14, Paddy saw Vitor Belfort versus Rich Franklin at UFC 103 and fell in love with mixed martial arts. Not long after, he joined the popular Next Generation gym in England.
And like I started having a little watch of it, and the first one I stayed up and watched live was Belfort versus Franklin. Belfort knocked him out in about a minute, and I went for a run at like 6 in the morning after it.
The diversity and excitement of MMA captured the young man's heart, and years of hard training only solidified his belief in his sporting future. In 2011, Paddy won 2 amateur fights, and by 2012, he made his professional debut. Paddy needed experience and tough opponents, and after some time, he successfully completed his first fight in the new weight class with a submission victory.
So what's your prediction then for this?
I'm gonna win.
Okay. By submission, knockout, TKO?
For his next fight, where the vacant championship title was on the line, Paddy prepared with a broken wrist, ultimately suffering his last loss of his career. Paddy's return came in 2020 after nearly a 2-year break. He underwent surgery, worked on improving his skills, and honed his techniques.
Is there a lot of sacrifice that comes with that?
A lot of sacrifice, lad. That's what a lot of people don't see. You don't see the behind the scenes stuff. Oh, he's in the cage, he's fighting. You see your weigh-in looking ripped and that. You see your fight, you see your interviews and that. You think, God, he's just been paid loads of dough for that. Nah, we haven't. We haven't, lad.
His comeback was nothing short of explosive. Paddy defeated Decky Dalton via TKO, and a year later, the now improved Englishman triumphed over Martinez. With a record of 16 wins and 3 losses, he signed with the best league in the world.
Like, I got offered 2 UFC contracts before I actually signed. I got offered the contract when I was 21, and I got offered the contract when I was 23, and I didn't actually sign until I was 26.
Really?
Yeah.
What was the reason for that?
I knew I weren't ready, to be honest. We spoke about it with my coaches, and I wasn't. I was still a child fighting men. And I know for a fact if I would have come into the UFC at that time, I probably would have got ragdolled by men, where I was a very small fighter. I wasn't big at all. and I had a lot of holes in my game, a lot of things that I needed to work on.
Like I felt like I had a sense of I had to do it because it was in the Echo, because I was the main event. People had all bought tickets to come and watch me. Know what I mean? So felt like I had to do it, even though I was injured, and I was that close from winning.
I'd like to see him. Because some guys look real good until they fight elite talent. And we've seen that before. Like some guys look like destroyers, and then they get in the UFC against guys who are just a little bit more technical, a little smarter, and they get pieced up.
These words apply only to the fighters who are nothing more than a passing presence, whose careers and journeys fade into the background of history. But Paddy Pimblett's debut was anything but ordinary. His entrance into the UFC exploded into a brilliant, colorful spectacle, showcasing his maturity, physically, technically, and emotionally. What followed for Paddy was a sensational rise. He signed with the UFC under standard terms, $10,000 per fight with an additional $10,000 for a win. But in his very first fight, he earned a $50,000 performance of the night bonus. Paddy's focus wasn't on the money, but on building his career. In Cage Warriors, he was paid around $100,000 per fight, and stepping into the UFC, where the financials were less favorable, he knew his success would be built on much more than just earnings.
You knew it was time to shine, yeah?
Yeah, always, lad. It's gotta be.
Is that probably the perfect way to debut, you think?
Yeah, 100%. Either that or run out in 5 seconds, get a flying knee like Masvidal, but yeah, that was perfect. Showed everyone that I can come through adversity as well, because he did catch you with a nice left hook. I need to stop letting people punch me in the face, lad.
Because as you know, the UFC starting deal's 10 and 10. I signed for a pay cut at first. My first 2 fights were 10 and 10 and 12 and 12. And then obviously after I won my second fight, I got a new deal and it went up.
But Paddy's hopes were justified. His next fights were won in a dominant, electrifying fashion. The crowd quickly embraced the expressive and charismatic fighter. But his true rise to fame came after his victory over the seasoned and tough Jared Gordon. This fight was particularly significant for Paddy, as it came at a time when, alongside the usual training struggles, he was dealing with deep emotional turmoil. His close friend had taken his own life just days after meeting with Paddy. Paddy had no idea about the struggles his friend was facing, as he had kept everything bottled up, trying to deal with it alone. But Paddy pushed through all the difficulties, delivering a quite okay performance, and followed it up with a heartfelt speech that struck a chord with fans worldwide.
When you walked out here, the energy was unbelievable. This crowd lost their mind.
People would rather, I know I'd rather me mate cry on my shoulder than go to his funeral next week. So please, let's get rid of this stigma and men start talking.
Paddy's sincerity and simplicity transformed him from a crowd favorite into the Baddy we know today. To his fans, Paddy became the childhood friend, a close companion, or even a family member. His straightforwardness in actions and views, combined with his charisma and incredible charm, turned him into a fighter who earns every single ovation from the fans.
I didn't save anyone's life, lad. I just said what anyone in my position should say. I feel like people who are in the public eye, anything like that, they should speak about, know what I mean? Because people do sit up and take notice. Things like that, that's proper close to my heart now, because Ricky took his own life.
Despite the overwhelming popularity that came his way, Paddy remained humble and never accepted the superstar status that was assigned to him. History is full of examples where sudden fame and popularity have destroyed athletes' careers. But Pimblett continued to focus on the right things and used his newfound fame to his advantage. Long weeks of tough negotiations followed, leading to impressive results that would shape his future.
Dog, you know it. I'm the boogeyman, I'm El Cucuy. And what you do is when you piss off the boogeyman, you're gonna get relentless back.
The Twitter spat between the fighters, followed by the official announcement of the Ferguson-Pimblett fight, was like a thunderclap out of a clear sky.
Your own country doesn't even like you, dude.
Lad, just because everyone likes you here, lad, it's going to be funny when you're on the floor asleep on Saturday night.
I don't even fucking care about you, dude.
I know you don't. I don't care about you. You're just another obstacle in the way, lad.
You care about me blocking you on Instagram.
Saturday, lad.
That's what you care about. You care about the most stupidest shit.
No, I don't.
I'm worried about everybody else.
Lad, you must care because you blocked me. I'm not that much of a little pussy to block someone on Instagram.
The conflict between the two fighters only fueled the hype around the match. It seemed like a win-win situation from every angle. On one side, we had the legendary Tony Ferguson, whose prime was behind him, and who likely wasn't in the running for a title shot. But before the end of his legendary career, he still had the strength to expose a few top prospects, one of whom was Paddy. On the other hand, Paddy was lacking in big-name opponents, and a matchup with Ferguson was the perfect opportunity for him. But the biggest winner from this fight was the organization itself. They had two highly ranked fighters with massive fan bases, and no matter the outcome, the league was guaranteed a positive result.
Tony Ferguson is an animal. An animal.
Like that.
He's the scariest guy at 155 in my word.
I agree.
In my world, because he don't get tired.
Yeah.
That Cowboy fight freaked me out. Cowboy looked like Tony had bricks in his gloves.
Yeah.
His face was all busted up. Tony didn't look like he had a scratch on him, and Tony wasn't even tired.
The great and fearsome Tony Ferguson was supposed to teach Paddy a lesson in the old school ways of mixed martial arts. Critics and experts were certain that the boogeyman wouldn't miss the chance to return to form and climb back to the top of the rankings. Initially, this fight was meant to be a rite of passage for the newcomer, an immersion into the brutal reality of MMA's old era, filled with blood, ferocity, and violence. The wolf was supposed to feast on lamb's flesh in front of the entire world.
You've never seen your own blood.
Can't believe you've actually got a suit on, lad. Every other day you're like an 8-year-old what's just dressed himself for the first time.
Cut you up.
Look like a fucking idiot.
It's been a long fucking time since I brought the blades out, baby, and it's gonna fucking...
Bring the blades out then, lad. You said you've been gonna cut your last 6 opponents. You can't do fuck all against them because you're an old crab. Shut your mouth.
Son of a bitch. You have no fucking clue, kid. You're bringing the heat out of me right now on Saturday.
I know. I can't wait to bring the heat out of you. I hope the old Tony turns up.
But the reality was a major disappointment for the American. On the night of the fight, the young and inexperienced Paddy transformed into a wolf in sheep's clothing. He dominated the veteran for all 3 rounds. While Tony managed to endure a barrage of strikes, he lost the fight in a completely one-sided fashion. Paddy left the once most feared fighter in the division with no chance of victory, proving his right to exist in the top ranks and his ambitions to belong among the lightweight division's elite.
Surprised that he got out that first round, lad, yeah. Know what I mean? I hit him with some punches there, a lot of unanswered ones, and I thought that maybe the ref could have stepped in, but give Mark Smith his due, he's one of the best refs in the world, so... And Tony come back out in the second and third raring to go, so... As I say, it could have been stopped, but it never, but I still won every round, and... Even though I'm a little bit disappointed to get the finish, I am happy with my performance at the same time.
With his victory over Ferguson, Paddy Pimblett earned the title of a top prospect. He was on everyone's lips across the division, but he hadn't cracked the rankings just yet. People viewed him more as an entertainer, someone who could put on a show and embarrass veterans, rather than a fighter capable of competing with the best of the best. But the Scouser was determined to change that as quickly as possible, and the league accommodated him, offering up a devil in a box in the form of Bobby Green.
Did you ask me a question about my feelings before?
I did.
You know how, fuck it, we're gonna let some feelings out today. Fuck this, and fuck this.
Bobby Green served as a kind of gatekeeper for fighters aiming to break into the title picture or crack into the top ranks. He was the last hurdle for Islam Makhachev before his title fight, testing the likes of Drew Dober, Tony Ferguson, and other fighters trying to move beyond the prospect stage. Bobby had never been considered a top 5 lightweight, but he was more than capable of punishing an opponent for any mistake.
Man, this crowd is fucking awesome. I'm tripping out right now. I fucking love it. Manchester, I came here for you. I came for the real Englishmen. I came here to show a real fight. If you're with me, you're with me. If you're against me, you're against me. That's fine. But when it comes to the fight, I'm with you.
And now he intended to expose Paddy for what he truly was.
King Green is in the red. Paddy Pimblett wearing his custom orange shorts.
Bobby, King, takedown, there's guillotine attempt. Now, it was under the chin for a second, but the triangle is tight. That is locked in. They're limited.
Oh, Paddy's got him now. Oh. This is tight.
And the armbar as well is going to be done. There it is. It's done.
Paddy Pimblett by submission in round one. He chokes King Green to sleep, or so it appears.
Out cold. Wow.
He's a Scouser. He's just fun. He looks like he's having a good old time when he's out there, and he can back it up. So that fight was big for him because that fight moves him into elite status, right? He goes from Jared Gordon, and now, you know, a couple other fights, now bam, Bobby Green, bam, someone's going to be a big name.
Obviously, we saw how I finished Dan Hooker in 2.5 minutes, and then a couple fights later, back up against the wall against Tony Ferguson, who was ranked. I thrive in these moments, and I believe Saturday night will be very similar to the last two.
The fight with Michael Chandler marked the final hurdle for Paddy Pimblett before he could break into the top 10 fighters in his division. This event was shrouded in mystery, promising a slew of surprises. On one side, the league had the most entertaining fighter in the league, according to Dana White, Michael Chandler, who had traded his career for a fight that never happened with McGregor, and who aimed to become a champion but never quite managed to.
I beat Charles Oliveira, I become the #1 contender. I beat Charles Oliveira, I can choose to go fight Islam or Arman. I believe it's going to be Islam. Or if Conor can finally get his house in order and put together a training camp and show up to a fight, maybe I go fight Conor and we finish the Ultimate Fighter 31.
Chandler's plans were never meant to come to fruition, and the league gave him one last shot.
Obviously, we game plan for fights, know what I mean? You watch a lot of tape on your opponent and you study it, and that's what my coaches do, and that's why we get so many wins. There's a lot of tape that we've studied over his UFC career, and I've got so many different ways that I can win this fight.
Although Paddy was the favorite, no one was counting Michael Chandler out. Yes, Pimblett was younger, faster, and stronger, but Chandler's immense experience and phenomenal durability prevented him from being considered a complete underdog. Fans were expecting a gladiator-like battle between two exciting fighters, but the outcome was something entirely different. Instead, the world witnessed the best version of Paddy, who absolutely and mercilessly battered Michael. What was particularly surprising was that none of the current top contenders in the lightweight division had ever beaten Chandler as thoroughly as Paddy did. The Scouser simply neutralized every strength of his opponent, forcing the once most explosive fighter in the division to flee for his life. Paddy sensationally knocked out Chandler in front of the entire world, earning his rightful place among the top fighters in the division.
Give me anyone. Ilya, I said I should be the one to welcome you to 155. We can do it now, buddy.
Now all roads in the lightweight division are wide open for Paddy. Like the morning star, he illuminated the world with his fire. This was the incredible dawn of Paddy Pimblett's career, and we assure you, the sunset of this Scouser will not come anytime soon.
And you put me against Paddy because I think that he's gonna.
You think Paddy's gonna beat Justin Gage?
Easy.
Wow. Really easy?
Yeah, easy.
Ahead of him are the biggest fights with the biggest names, where he will showcase the best version of himself and once again shock the world. Who do you think will be Paddy's next opponent? Share your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching and see you next time.